afternoon, and welcome to a beautiful day at Barron's Field on the campus of Franklin College for the final two home games of the regular season for the Franklin College softball team as they host the Manchester Spartans on Senior Day here at Grizzly Park in Barron's Field. I'm Ryan Thomas. I'll be handling all the play-by-play duties for you today. You are watching Franklin College softball on Grizz TV, brought to you by the Hubler Automotive Group. It's Senior Day for three members of the Grizz softball team. Seniors Sydney Bostic, Sydney Rodiger, and Sydney Pitts, the three Sydneys, playing their final two home games in front of their fans, and the Grizz are looking to get two wins against a good Manchester team that comes into today's game 21-7 on the year, 9-5 in HCAC play, playing their two final games of the regular season ahead of next week's HCAC tournament in either Cincinnati or in Lexington. Let's take a look at the starting lineups for both teams. We'll start with the Spartans of Manchester, leading off the designated player, number 12, Julianne Gosnell. Batting second at shortstop, number 8, Aaron Singleton. Batting third at first base, number 7, Sabrina Leonard. Batting fourth and doing the pitching, number 15, Caitlin Carr. Batting fifth at third base, number 1, Abby Eberhardt. Batting sixth and doing the catching, number 23, Izzy Dittmar. Batting seventh out in right field, number 4, Faith Hiddle. Batting eighth and playing left field, number 14, Lainey Bonzer. Batting ninth at second base, number 30, Brianna Eagold. And playing in center field, number 24, Lexi Goodman. Head coach of the Spartans in her third season, Sarah Emmerich. Sammy Miller and Josh Zurich are the assistant coaches for the Spartans. Now let's take a look at the starting lineup for your Franklin College Grizzlies. Leading off in center field, senior number 7, Sydney Rodiger. Batting second in left field, number 11, Annie Klemper. Batting third and doing the catching, senior number 5, Sydney Bostic. The cleanup hitter and first baseman, number 20, Genesis Munoz. Molly Wallace handles the duties at second base and bats fifth. Ariana Wagner will be out in right field and bats sixth for the Grizzlies. Raven McLaren will be at third base and bats seventh. Kaylee Stewart is the designated player, batting eighth. And Shelby Crockett rounds out the lineup, playing shortstop and batting ninth, all behind senior pitcher Sydney Pitts. Pitts coming into this game with a 9-7 record and a 252 earned run average as the Grizzlies' primary Game 1 starter throughout the season. Those are the lineups. That's how the teams stack up against each other. It's two important games here at Barron's Field with positioning in next weekend's HCAC tournament on the line. We are going to take a quick step aside. We'll be back after the introductions and the national anthem. You are watching Franklin College softball on Grizz TV, brought to you by the Hubler Automotive Group. We are back here at Barron's Field. The finishing touches of the pregame warm-up going on with Franklin College senior starter Sydney Pitts getting the ball for game number 1. Pitts 9-7 on the year, a 2.52 ERA and 18 appearances with 17 starts, 15 complete games, a team high 116 and 2/3 innings, 50 runs allowed, 42 earned runs allowed, 15 walks and 35 strikeouts for the senior from Rising Sun. Franklin in their home whites with the blue numbers and the gold trim. Manchester will be in their black jerseys with the gold trim, white numbers. The throw goes down and we are ready to go here at Barron's Field. Julianne Gosnell will lead off for the Spartans. Gosnell, 277 hitter in 37 games. No home runs, 13 runs batted in. As she stands in, getting ready to face Sydney Pitts. Busy afternoon around for Franklin College Athletics as the first pitch is outside for ball 1. We're underway at Barron's Field. The first weekend in May usually means the season has concluded for several of our spring teams. Not the case today. Baseball in action, lacrosse playing for a conference championship, men's golf on the course as well as Pitts fires a strike in to Gosnell. 1-1 the count. Franklin baseball team can clinch the HCAC regular season title and 1 seed in the conference tournament with 2 wins today at Earlham. As the 1-1 pitch is high and tight and hits Gosnell on the shoulder. So nobody out, 1 on, and Aaron Singleton comes to bat. Singleton, a freshman from Brownstown, Indiana, leads the Spartans in batting average at .356. No home runs, 21 runs knocked in. She squares the bunt and fouls that one back at the plate. Over on first base, Gosnell, not a real big threat to run. She is a perfect 2 for 2 in stolen bases. Manchester, 32 steals and 37 attempts on the year to 33 steals on 38 attempts for the Grizzlies. So both teams like to play station-to-station softball as Pitts fires the 0-1 pitch. It catches the outside corner for strike 2, and she's got Singleton in an 0-2 hole early. The 0-2 pitch is slapped past Raven McLaren at third base and into left field for a base hit. So the first 2 runners for the Spartans are on, and that will bring Sabrina Leonard to the plate. Leonard, the top run producer for the Spartans this year, .354 average, 2 home runs, and a team high 30 knocked in with 40 hits and 113 at bats. She's played in all 38 games to date. Two on, nobody out here in the top of the first as Leonard calls time, steps out of the batter's box. First pitch on the way from Pitts is outside for ball 1. And time called as Franklin College assistant coach Marita Van Dyke heads out to the circle to talk to her senior pitcher. While she does that, we take a look around for how the rest of the Grizzlies are doing in the first weekend of May. We've got softball here at Barron's Field, baseball just getting underway at Earlham for 2 games with the Quakers in pursuit of their 2nd straight HCAC regular season championship. Men's golf is on the course for round 2 of the HCAC championships in Florence, Indiana. Franklin sitting in 3rd place overall, 12 shots back of Transylvania after 1 round of action. as the 1-0 pitch from Pitts is in for a called strike. Women's lacrosse is in action right now in the HCLC championship game down in Transylvania. That is a game with 3 minutes gone in the first quarter and Transy holding a 1-0 lead. The 0-1 pitch is smacked up the middle, a base hit off the glove of a diving Shelby Crockett. It's going to be a single and a run knocked in as Gosnell comes in to score, and the Spartans are on the board just like that. So it brings Caitlin Carr to the plate. Carr, the starting pitcher for the Spartans in game one. She's also a formidable opponent with the bat in her hand. 295 average, no home runs, 13 knocked in, and 88 at bats. First pitch from Pitts is in for a called strike. Pitts with the 0-1 pitch is in for another called strike. So it's 0-2 on the Manchester starting pitcher and cleanup hitter Caitlin Carr. The 0-2 pitch is fouled off the end of the bat. Pitts gets a big strikeout for out number one as she put that one just a couple inches off the outside corner of the plate in a perfect spot. One down, and that will bring in Abby Eberhardt. Eberhardt getting her 10th start of the year, 250 average on the season, 32 at-bats, 8 hits. First pitch from Pitts is low. A Shelbyville, Indiana native and Triton Central graduate. Eberhardt getting the start at third base in game one for the Spartans. Runners at second and third with one away as the 1-0 pitch just misses off the outside corner for ball two. Strike from Pitts to Eberhardt. That one just getting the outside corner of the plate. So far, you've seen a lot of Pitts attacking the outside corner to all of Manchester's first 5 batters that stand in the right-handed box. Off-speed pitches just outside for ball 3. So a real hitter's count here for Eberhardt, 3-1. Pitch. That one is slapped into right field. That gets down in front of Ariana Wagner for a base hit. One run is in, and the Spartans are up 2-0 on an RBI single from Abby Eberhardt. Junior catcher Izzy Dittmar is the number 6 hitter for Manchester. Dittmar making her 38th start of the year, a 291 average. No home runs, 15 runs knocked in. A double play ball here would be huge for Sydney Pitts as Dittmar fouls that first pitch back to the screen. double play is exactly what Pitts gets as Ditmar lines out to Pitts on the play. She turns around and doubles off Eberhardt at first base. So the Spartans plate 2 in their first trip to the plate on 3 hits with 1 runner left on base. We go to the bottom of the first. 2-0 your score. You're watching Franklin College Softball on Grizz TV, brought to you by the Hubler Automotive Group. Sydney Rodiger set to lead off the bottom of the first inning for the Grizzlies. Rodiger, a .341 hitter, making her 37th appearance of the year. No home runs, 19 RBIs, 8 doubles on the season. As the first pitch from Carr is over the inside corner for a called strike. Carr having a real nice season in the circle for Manchester, a 12-5 record with a 2.12 ERA in 21 appearances with 14 starts, 12 complete games as the 0-1 pitch is outside for ball 1. .119 innings logged, 36 earned runs allowed, 17 walks, 54 strikeouts. Opponents hitting .246 against her as Rodiger rolls one over to third. Eberhardt up with it, throws it across the diamond for out number 1.
Left fielder, number 11, Annie Klumper.
Annie Klemper will stand in as the Grizz number 2 hitter. Klemper, .371 average, 1 home run, 23 knocked in. She has had a real productive second half of the season for the Grizzlies. First pitch is just off the outside corner, called ball 1. Klemper gets a piece of the 1-0 pitch, rolls it over to second. And that one is an easy 4-3 play as Eagle throws it over to first for out number 2. So 2 batters, 2 ground outs for the Grizzlies in the bottom of the first. And Sydney Bostic will come to the plate, looking to start a 2-out rally for the Grizz. First pitch is off the outside corner, ball 1. Bostic, a .331 hitter, has started 36 games, all of them behind the plate. This year, no home runs, 14 runs knocked in, but she has done an outstanding job with the Franklin pitching staff that is carrying a .233 team earned run average coming into today's game. The 1-0 pitch is outside, ball 2. Bostic ahead in the count 2-0 with 2 down here in the bottom of the first. That's a called strike as Carr finds the outside corner. 2-1 the count to the Grizzlies' senior catcher. That one just missed outside. Now 3-1 the count. Nice job by Izzy Ditmar behind the plate to try and square that thing up for a called strike. Bostic out in front of that pitch, fouls it off just in front of the Franklin dugout. Bostic stands in, ready for the payoff pitch. That one is smoked down the left field line, but just foul. We'll do it again. And an off-speed pitch on 3-2 is outside for ball 4. The Grizzlies have their first base runner of the day in Sydney Bostic. That'll bring Genesis Munoz to the plate. Munoz started all 36 games for the Grizz. 358 average, 4 home runs, and tied for the team lead with 31 runs knocked in as she takes the first pitch outside for ball 1. 1-0 pitch to Munoz is fouled off. Munoz gets a piece of the 1-1 pitch off the handle and fouled back. 1-2 the count to the sophomore first baseman, Seymour, Indiana native Genesis Munoz. Bostic the runner at first for the Grizzlies. Munoz slaps that one foul just over the first base dugout. Munoz turns on an inside pitch and drives it down the left field line, but well foul. So it just goes down as a long strike. Still 1-2 the count with 2 down in the bottom of the first. Down in Richmond, no score after 1 inning as Munoz smacks that one through the left side of the infield for a base hit.
Second baseman, number 12, Molly Wallace.
So 2 down, 2 runners on base, and here comes Molly Wallace to the plate. Wallace having an outstanding sophomore season as the team's everyday second baseman. A team high 380 average, 1 home run, 16 RBIs, and a team best 11 doubles. She takes the first pitch from Carr over the inside corner for a called strike, 0-1. 0-1 pitch inside, that evens up the count at 1-1. As we said, down in Richmond, it's no score after 1 inning between Franklin and Earlham in baseball as the 1-1 pitch is off the outside corner for ball 2. Wallace gets that one, gets just out in front of that one, rolls it over to third base. It's a fielder's choice as Eberhardt steps on the bag to bring a close to the inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 2 left. We go to the second. Manchester leads Franklin 2-0. You're watching Franklin College Softball on Grizz TV, brought to you by the Hubler Automotive Group. top half of the second inning from Barron's Field as Manchester comes to bat with a 2-0 lead. Faith Hiddle will be the leadoff hitter for the Spartans. Hiddle, a .309 hitter, 24 games with 16 starts. No home runs, 10 knocked in for the Spartans. First pitch from Pitts is fouled back to the screen. Pitts has the sign and into her delivery. That one is high and outside for ball one. Again, as we said, this is an important game. This is an important series for these two teams as Hiddle fouls off the 1-1 pitch. Now 1-2. Transylvania and Mount St. Joseph have locked up the 1 and 2 seeds in the upcoming HCAC tournament. Transylvania can clinch the number 1 overall seed with one win today against Rose-Hulman. As Hiddle hits that one on the ground, back to Pitts. She comes up with it, fires it over to first for out number 1.
Number 14,
Lainey Bonzer will stand in. Bonzer, 222 hitter and 36 at-bats on the season. The HCAC tournament going to 6 teams for the first time ever. As Bonzer rolls that one over to short, Crockett gets it on a friendly hop and fires across the diamond for out number 2. The 16 field set. Transy and Mount are your 1 and 2 seeds. Franklin and Manchester battling for the 3 and 4 spots, with Defiance and Hanover rounding out the tournament field. Still plenty of softball to go this weekend as everybody, with the exceptions of Hanover and Bluffton, done for the year with their schedules. That first pitch is in for a called strike to Brianna Eagold. Eagold, 250 average on the year, 7 hits in 28 at-bats. Here's the pitch from Pitts. Eagold sends that one in the air. In foul territory, Munoz and Wallace converge on it at the same time, but Munoz squeezes it for out number 3. So 1-2-3 inning for Pitts. We go to the bottom of the second. Franklin trails Manchester 2-0. You're watching Franklin College Softball on Grizz TV, brought to you by the Hubler Automotive Group. Back for the bottom of the second inning, and Ariana Wagner stands in for the Grizzlies. Wagner enjoying a breakout sophomore campaign at the dish. 362 average as she takes ball number 1. 362 average, 9 home runs, and tied for the team lead with 31 runs knocked in. The next home run Wagner hits, she'll become the first Grizzly since both Savannah Blevins and Alexis Tarver in 2016 to reach double-digit home runs for a season. Pitch to Wagner is up high. The count goes 2-1 to Ariana Wagner. That one's off the outside corner to Wagner, ball 3. Carr with the sign and the pitch. Wagner hits that one into center field, just over the outstretched gloves of Carr and Singleton. That's going to be a single for Wagner.
Raven McLaren.
That'll bring Raven McLaren to the plate. McLaren, a .273 average on the year, but hitting well over 300 in conference play. He's really taken a stranglehold on the third base job for the Grizzlies this year. First pitch is outside for ball 1. Wagner over on first, 6 stolen bases in 7 attempts as McLaren hits that one on the ground to third. That one gets through the legs off the glove of Eberhardt.
Kaylee Stewart.
That ball was hit hard, but Eberhardt was right there on the third base line. That one's going to go down as an error on the play. So we're going to have runners on first and second with nobody out, and Kaylee Stewart getting set to stand in. Pinch runner for the Grizzlies. Alyssa Pash will take over for McLaren at first. We mentioned Stewart having a real nice freshman season, .322 average, 4 runs batted in 29 appearances for the Grizzlies. She squares the bunt and pops it up, and very fortunate that one got back to the screen. Stewart squares the bunt. That one gets down, and she gets thrown out at first base. Eberhardt looked like she didn't know where to go with the ball. She turned around, looked to go to third, but it's going to be a sacrifice bunt for Kaylee Stewart to get 2 runners into scoring position with 1 down, and Shelby Crockett comes to the plate. Crockett, .213 average in 35 games for the Grizz. She takes the first pitch right down the middle for a called strike. One and one the count to Shelby Crockett. It's a big spot for Crockett. She's a proven run producer for the Grizzlies. Now in her junior season, she takes the pitch inside for ball 2. 2 and 1 the count to the Grizzlies starting shortstop. Crockett swings and fouls that one back. It was a good pitch to hit, and she just got underneath it. Crockett swings and drives that one into center field. It's going to be hauled in by Goodman. Deep in center, and it goes down as a sacrifice fly for Shelby Crockett in the first run of the game for the Grizzlies.
Fielder, number 7.
Back to the top of the order, and Sydney Rodiger. Rodiger takes the first pitch down the middle for a called strike. Pitch to Rodiger is up high for called. Ball 1-1 the count, 2 down. Alyssa Pash out on second base for the Grizzlies, representing the tying run. Rodiger rolls that one over to second. Up with it is Singleton. She fires it across the diamond, and a stretch over at first base by Leonard. She comes up with it, and the ruling is out on the play. And that'll be out number 3, so 1 run, 2 hits, 1 runner left on base for the Grizzlies in the second. We go to the third. Franklin trails Manchester 2-1. You're watching Franklin College Softball on Grizz TV, brought to you by the Hubler Automotive Group. Julianne Gosnell stands in to lead off the top half of the third inning. Gosnell hit by a pitch and scored a run in her first trip to the plate. Swings and fouls off the first pitch down the right field line into a gaggle of Manchester fans. The 1-1 pitch to Gosnell low for ball 1. Gosnell ropes that one into center field for a leadoff single. So Singleton stands in. Singleton 1 for 1. She scored in the top half of the first inning for the Spartans. Singleton pops up the 0-1 pitch. Molly Wallace settles underneath it and squeezes it for out number 1. That'll bring Sabrina Leonard to the plate. Leonard with an RBI single in her first trip in the first inning. First pitch from pitch, rolled over to short. Crockett up with it, fires it across the diamond to Munoz for out number 2. That does move Gosnell into scoring position. And now Caitlin Carr will come to the plate, looking to help herself out. Carr 0 for 1 with a strikeout in her first trip to the plate today. The pitcher-to-pitcher matchup. Pitts fires high for ball 1. That one is popped up in foul territory. Munoz settles right underneath it for out number 3. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left for the Spartans in the third. We go to the bottom of the inning. Franklin still trails Manchester 2-1. You're watching Franklin College Softball on Grizz TV, brought to you by the Hubler Automotive Group. Annie Klimper steps in to lead off the bottom of the third. She takes a called strike on the first pitch. And the 0-1 pitch is over the outside corner for called strike 2. Klimper in an 0-2 hole right off the bat. That one's low and outside, trying to get her to chase. A swing and a misses. Klimper goes chasing for one in the right-handed batter's box. First strikeout of the ball game for Caitlin Carr, and that brings Sydney Bostic in. Bostic drew a walk in her first trip to the plate. She swings and way out in front of that one. Sends that one over the down over the left field wall and into the bleachers. Bostic pops up the 0-1 pitch. That one gets out of play. It hits the top of the Manchester dugout. Bostic, one of 3 Franklin seniors that we'll be honoring between games today. Bostic turns on that pitch, hits it to short. A nice play by Singleton. Moving to her right, she comes up with it, fires across the diamond for out number 2. So 2 out, and Genesis Munoz comes up looking to keep the inning alive. Munoz with a single in her first trip to the plate. First pitch is outside for ball 1. Now 2-0 as Munoz takes that pitch low. Taking a look around the HCAC, Transylvania leads Rose Holman 5-1 in Game 1. A win for the Pioneers locks up the number 1 seed in the HCAC tournament as Munoz fouls that one back. 2-0 Mount St. Joseph leads Defiance. The Grizzlies and Yellow Jackets will play 2 games tomorrow in Ohio. We've got time called by the Manchester bench. Elsewhere around the league, Anderson hosts Kalamazoo College today, closing out their season with a couple of non-conference games. Hanover and Bluffton already done with their regular seasons. Hanover will be in the conference tournament next weekend. Only 2 games on the docket tomorrow. Both of those, the doubleheader between Franklin and Defiance. We are back and ready for the 2-1 pitch. Munoz hits a sharp round ball to second that gets scooped up by Egold. Well, it looked like it was going to be out number 3, but instead the count is well, I've got a headset on up here, and I'm not entirely sure what happened. So the counts 3-1 to Munoz as that ground ball gets wiped out. Munoz swings and drives that one into left field. Hiddle settles underneath it, just in front of the warning track. And now that's out number 3. So no runs, no hits, no errors in the inning. The Grizzlies still trail Manchester 2-1 as we go to the 4th. We'll be right back. Abby Eberhardt rolls over the first pitch she sees to third base. A nice pick over there by Raven McLaren. She fires across the diamond for out number 1. It brings Dittmer to the plate. Dittmer 0 for 1 in the game. She takes the first pitch down low. Now 1-1. Pitts evens up the count with a called strike. Over in Richmond in game 1, no score. Heading to the bottom of the 4th inning between Franklin and Earlham in baseball. As the pitch is dumped into right field. That's a base hit for Dittmer, her first time reaching base this afternoon. So it'll bring Faith Hiddle to the plate. Hiddle with a ground out in her first plate appearance of the day. The first pitch is outside for ball 1. Dittmer just 2 stolen base attempts on the year, over at first for Manchester. That one's rolled on the ground. Pitts up with it to Crockett for 1, and it's a fielder's choice as Hiddle beats out the throw from Crockett to first. So a fielder's choice 1 to 6 on the putout. 2 away for Lainey Bonzer. Bonzer 0 for 1 in the ball game. She grounded out in the 2nd inning as well. First pitch hit on the ground. Pitts catches that on 1 hop, swings it over to Munoz, and it's a quick inning for the Grizzlies. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left for the Spartans. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Franklin trails Manchester 2-1. You're watching Franklin College Softball on Grizz TV, brought to you by the Hubler Automotive Group. Wallace stands in to lead off the bottom of the fourth for the Grizzlies. Still plenty of time for Franklin in this game as Wallace rolls over the first pitch she sees to third. Eberhardt fires that across the diamond for out number 1.
Ariana Wagner.
Both pitchers doing a really nice job pitching to contact in this game. As Ariana Wagner stands in, she swings and bounces the first pitch she sees over to third. Eberhardt across the diamond gets Wagner by a step for out number 2.
Number 26, Raven McLaren.
Raven McLaren will stand in. McLaren swings at the first pitch and hits that one just over the fence, back of first base. McLaren swings and pops that one back and short, and an outstanding defensive play by Singleton. She chases that down and catches it with a little hop. 1, 2, 3 go the Grizz. We go to the 5th inning. Still 2-1 Manchester. We'll be right back. Back for the the top of the 5th inning. 4 innings down in game 1 between Franklin and Earlham in baseball in Richmond. Still no score between those two teams as both starting pitchers tossing a gem so far. First pitch from Pitts to Brianna Egold is low for ball 1. Franklin's women's lacrosse team trailing Transylvania at halftime, 13-2 in the HCLC championship game as the 2-1 pitch is over the inside corner for a called strike. Pitts into the line, the pitch that's outside for ball 2. As we said earlier, Franklin's baseball team needing one win today a sweep today against Earlham to lock up the number 1 seed in the conference tournament. The Grizzlies with a 3-game lead over Transylvania with 4 to play as that pitch is taken low for ball 3. So 3-1 the count to Brianna Egold. I suppose by the tiebreaker that the Grizzlies have with a series win against the Pioneers earlier this year, they are locked in as they would be locked in as the 1 seed with just 1 win today, as that one slapped through the right side for a base hit. Eagle just beating out the throw from Ariana Wagner in shallow right field. So for the 3rd time in 5 innings, the leadoff hitter for the Spartans reaches, and they roll over to the top of the order for Julianne Gosnell. First pitch from Pitts is way outside for ball 1. That pitch right down the middle. Pitts evens up the count, 1-1 to Gosnell. on the golf course down in Florence, Indiana at Belterra Golf Course. The Grizzly men's golf team off to a good start. 4 holes played by the Grizz so far. At least 4 holes, the most among anyone in the lineup, as Gosnell swats that one down the left field line. A base hit. Wagner comes up with it, rifles it over to third. But 2 on, nobody out, and here comes the thumpers in the Manchester order, starting with Aaron Singleton. Singleton 2 for 2 with a run scored in the game. Excuse me, Singleton 1 for 2 with a run scored. She squares the bunt. That pitch is low and outside, taken for a ball as she pulls back. Singleton squares the bunt and misses. Pitts evens up the count at 1-1. Pitts into the line. Singleton laces that one into right field. It is hauled in by Ariana Wagner. And a big first out of the inning for the Grizzlies. Sabrina Leonard comes up with 1 down in the inning. Pitts deals to Singleton. That one gets through the left side, a base hit just out of the outstretched glove of McLaren and a diving Crockett, but Klemper able to come up with it and keep the run from scoring. And we've got time called as head coach Angie Bain heads out to the circle to talk with her senior pitcher. Bases loaded, 1 out in the inning for cleanup hitter Caitlin Carr. So a big spot in this first game coming up right here with the 2 pitchers facing off. Pitts dealing to Caitlin Carr. The bag's full and 1 down in the inning. Carr swings and drives the first pitch into center. Rodiger settles underneath it. Here comes the run home. She is well out at the plate. Rodiger fires a strike up the line to Sydney Bostic, who makes the easy tag on Brianna Egold. And that will do it for the Spartans in the 5th. No runs, 2 left on base. We go to the bottom of the inning. Franklin trailing Manchester 2-1. You are watching Franklin College Softball and Grizz TV, brought to you by the Hubler Automotive Group. Stewart takes a strike to lead off the bottom of the fifth. Still 2-1 the score. A real pitcher's duel out here at Barron's Field as Stewart bloops one into shallow right field for a base hit. Third hit of the ball game for the Grizzlies.
Shelby Crockett.
So Shelby Crockett will stand in. Crockett with an RBI sac fly to account for the Grizzlies' lone run of the day. She squares the bunt and fouls it back. Thought maybe this was a possibility before the top of the Franklin lineup can stand in. Crockett squares the bunt and tries to pull back, but it hits her bat and goes back to the screen for strike two. To the count to Crockett. Pitches outside for ball one. Crockett fouls off the 1-2 pitch. Two pitches off the outside corner. A good take by Crockett to even up the count at 2-2. Crockett swings and hits that one into shallow center field. Back of the bag at second base.
Number 7.
Squeezed by Singleton for out number 1. Back to the top of the lineup, and Sydney Rodiger. Been a tough go to start the game for the 1 and 2 hitters in the Franklin lineup. We'll see if the third time's a charm for Sydney Rodiger and Annie Klemper behind her. First pitch is a called strike over the outside corner from Carr. Rodiger swings at a pitch just above the letters and fouls it off. She's already in an 0-2 hole with one down here in the bottom of the fifth. We've got no pitch called as the home plate umpire stop play right before delivery. The 0-2 pitch to Rodiger well outside for ball number 1. Carr sets and deals. That pitch is outside for ball 2. Stewart had a really large lead over at first after that pitch. Stewart not a huge threat to run, just one stolen base on her lone attempt of the year. Rodiger fouls off the 2-2 pitch. Rodiger stands in, Carr has the signal and the pitch. Rodiger pops that one up into shallow center. Second base converges on the play. It's squeezed by Eagold back of the bag for out number 2. So That'll bring Annie Klemper to the plate. Klemper in search of her first hit of the afternoon. Klemper swings and sends that one back up the middle for a base hit, just past a diving eagle at second base. So 2 on for the Grizzlies with 2 out in the 5th. And Sydney Bostic comes to the plate. This is the spot in the Franklin lineup that they have to love having come to the plate with runners on base late in the ball game. Bostic swings at the first pitch and smacks it down the line foul. On to the bottom of the 5th inning in Richmond, the Franklin baseball team and Earlham still locked in a scoreless tie. Bostic takes the 0-1 pitch outside for ball 1. Down in the Franklin bullpen, freshman Kylie Cadle getting loose. Bostic hits that one to third and goes right between the wickets of Eberhardt. Here comes Stewart around third. She is safe at home. A great head first slide by Kaylee Stewart gets the Grizzlies back to even. And now they've got runners at second and third with 2 outs. And the second error of the ball game for Eberhardt over at third base proves costly. Genesis Munoz up. Munoz 1 for 2 in the ball game and 2 huge RBI opportunities sitting out there on the base paths. Munoz hits that one to deep center field, but Goodman able to track it down just in front of the wall for out number 3. The Grizzlies get a run to even things up at 2 as we head to the 6th inning. You are watching Franklin College Softball and Grizz TV, brought to you by the Hubler Automotive Group. Back for the top half of the 6th inning, and Abby Eberhardt standing in, the third baseman for the Spartans, swings at the first pitch she sees and hits that one over Rodiger's head in center field. She'll turn and head to second. The throw from Rodiger is just offline, and a bold move by Eberhardt to not slide in, but she just gets in ahead of the tag from Shelby Crockett for a leadoff double. Looks like we're going to have a pinch runner for the Spartans as number 2, Amaya Lester, gets up and heads to second base to take over on the paths. First pitch to Dittmer is in for a called strike. No action down in the bullpen for the Grizzlies as Katie Moore has the ball in her hands and a catcher's mask in the other. Dittmer turns to bunt and fouls that one back to the screen. Dittmer pops up the 0-2 pitch in foul territory. Munoz settles right underneath it and squeezes it for the big first out of the inning. So it'll bring Faith Hiddle to the plate. Hiddle 0 for 2 in the ball game. We've got an update from Richmond in game number 1. Earlham has taken a 2-0 lead over Franklin in game 1 of that doubleheader as Hiddle swats that one into left field, and a great jump by Ariana Wagner to run in and squeeze that one for out number 2. So it brings Lainey Bonzer to the plate. Bonzer takes the first pitch he sees, rolls it over to second base. Molly Wallace scoops it up and gets it to Munoz for the third out. So nothing doing after the leadoff double for the Spartans. We go to the bottom of the 6th, still 2-2. You're watching Franklin College Softball on Grizz TV, brought to you by the Hubler Automotive Group. Molly Wallace stands in to lead off the bottom of the 6th for the Grizzlies. First pitch is outside to Wallace for ball 1. Wallace swings at the 1-0 pitch and smacks it down the left field line for a single. Nice piece of hitting from the Grizzly with the best batting average on the year. That brings Ariana Wagner to the plate with nobody out here in the bottom half of the 6th. First pitch to Wagner. She jumps on it, smokes it to third. Eberhard across to second for 1. Wagner beats out the throw to first. So it goes down as a fielder's choice.
Raven McLaren.
And that'll bring Raven McLaren to the plate. McLaren Aaron swings and drives the first pitch into deep left field. A long run out and left for Bonzer. She makes the diving catch just in front of the warning track for a long out, number 2.
Number 18, Kaylee Stewart.
So here comes Kaylee Stewart. Stewart with a single and a run scored in her last trip to the plate. She communicates with the bench, gets her elbow guard. We'll have some updates from around the HCAC, baseball and softball-wise, at the end of this half inning as the first pitch is high. Wagner takes off for second, and she is safe for the stolen base. Seventh stolen base of the year for Ariana Wagner. Now she's in scoring position with a good contact hitter in Kaylee Stewart up to the plate. Stewart swings and drives that one foul down the left field line. She's just out in front of it a little bit. The 1-1 pitch is taken outside for ball number 2. Stewart laces that one to short, right into the glove of a waiting Singleton for out number 3. So no runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. We go to the 7th, still tied at 2 before we take a break and get ready for the 7th. In HCAC softball action around the diamond, Mount St. Joseph leads Defiance in Game 1, 3-0 in the top of the 5th inning. The Lions needing 2 wins and some help from last place Rose Holman to secure the 1 seed in the conference tournament. Right now, they are not getting that help from the Engineers. Transylvania leads Game 1 of that doubleheader 5-2 in the bottom of the 5th inning. On the diamond, the first game final in Anderson with Transylvania beating the Ravens 13-7, getting a win that they needed to stay alive in the race for the 1 seed for the HCAC tournament. Hanover beat Defiance in Game 1 4-0 as the Panthers look to qualify for the HCAC baseball tournament. First pitch from Pitts to Brianna Egold is in for a called strike. Game 1 in North Manchester with the Manchester baseball team leading Mount St. Joseph 7-4 in the 9th. The 0-1 pitch to Egold is low for ball number 1. 1-1 the count from Pitts to Egold. Pitch is on the way. Egold slaps that one foul down the third base line. Still 2-0 Earlham leading the Franklin baseball team in Game 1 of that doubleheader as the game sits in the top half of the 6th inning. And a called strike 3 as Egold catches, caught looking by Pitts. Second strikeout of the ball game for the Grizzlies senior pitcher. And 1 down as the lineup rolls over. Here comes Julianne Gosnell. Gosnell's been a problem for Pitts this afternoon. Has reached in all 3 trips to the plate with 2 singles and a hit by pitch. First pitch is a called strike. Nice job by Bostic to hold that position over the outside corner. baseball on the board. Garrett DeHart with an RBI double to cut the Earlham lead in half in game one. 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th inning. Excuse me, 2 outs in the top of the 6th inning, and the Grizzlies trailing Earlham 2-1. That pitch not hit on the ground, hit sharply. Crockett can't come up with it. We'll wait on the official score to see if that's a hit or an error, but in the meantime, it will bring Aaron Singleton to the plate for the Spartans. Ruled a hit as the first pitch to Singleton rolled over to second. Molly Wallace goes down to a knee to knock that ball down and fire it over to Munoz for out number 2. That does get a runner into scoring position. And the biggest at-bat of the game today, with Sabrina Leonard coming to the plate to face Pitts with 2 outs here in the inning. Leonard 2 for 3 in the game with an RBI. The top of this Manchester lineup has been productive. 1, 2, 3 in the order with 6 of the Spartans' 10 hits in the ball game. The first pitch from Pitts is low for ball number 1. Second pitch is smoked to Wallace at second base. She dives but can't come up with it. That is going to allow Gosnell to turn and score from second base, and just like that, the Spartans have the 3-2 lead as we enter as Leonard comes through with a massive, massive piece of hitting. She hit that ball hard, and Wallace laid out for it, but just couldn't squeeze it. The bounce went the Spartans' way as that ball got into shallow center field, away from both Wallace and Shelby Crockett. First pitch to Caitlin Carr is high for ball 1. Carr pops up the 1-0 pitch. Wallace back at second, squeezes it for out number 3. The Grizzlies have 3 outs to work with, trailing by a run as we go to the bottom of the 7th in game 1. You're watching Franklin College Softball on Grizz TV, brought to you by the Hubler Automotive Group. Shelby Crockett stands in to lead off the bottom of the 7th. Grizzlies down by a run. Crockett swings and rolls over the first pitch to short. Singleton up with it, fires it across the diamond for 1 quick out.
Number 7, Sydney Rodiger.
So Sydney Rodiger will step in for the 4th time in the ball game. Still looking for her first hit, but a chance to provide some senior day heroics. One away, bottom of the 7th. Rodiger laces the 1-0 pitch foul down the left field line. pitch is low and gets away from Izzy Dittmar behind the plate. This is a young Manchester Spartans team playing really, really well under Sarah Emmerich. Just one senior on the roster in Lainey Bonzer. Rodiger hits that one on the ground. One hops it to Eberhard over at first. That throw is offline, but a nice job by Sabrina Leonard over at first base to squeeze it for out number 2.
Number 11, Andy Klumper.
So Annie Klemper represents the last chance for the Grizzlies. She swings and drives the first pitch into right field for a base hit. Second hit of the ball game for Klemper, and the Grizzlies have life with the heart of the order coming up. Sydney Bostic will be the first to stand in. Bostic 0 for 2 with an RBI in the ball game. Bostic swings and drives the first pitch into left field. Bonzer settles under it and squeezes it to bring game number 1 to a close. The Spartans take game 1 of the doubleheader 3-2. Manchester 3 runs, 11 hits, 2 errors in the game. Franklin 2 runs on 6 hits, no errors in the ball game. Carr is going to be your winning pitcher. She moves to 13-5 overall. Sydney Pitts takes the loss. She's now 9-8 on the season. We are going to step aside for the duration of the Senior Day ceremonies. We'll be back with Game 2 in just a little bit. You are watching Franklin College Softball on Grizz TV, brought to you by the Hubler Automotive Group. half of the first inning. Franklin coming up to bat. Sydney Rodiger leads off the bottom half of the first inning. Your friendly broadcaster up here just realized that we had our audio board turned off for the entire top half of the first, so apologies to our listeners. 2-0 the count to Sydney Rodiger. The Franklin softball team celebrating senior day in between contests. Rodiger, a 4-year starter with the team, rips that one into the left center field gap. That one's going to one-hop the wall. Rodiger turns around first into second with a stand-up double.
Left fielder, number 11, Andy Klumper.
So it'll bring Annie Klemper to the plate. Klemper had 2 hits in the opening contest. Another one here would go a long ways into getting the Grizz on the board first. The first pitch is over the outside corner for a called strike. Klemper gets a bat on that one, sends it up the middle. That one's through for a base hit. Rodiger turns around third and scores easily. A single up the middle for Klemper and the first lead of the day for the Grizz.
Sydney Boston.
Klemper now 24 RBIs on the season. And that'll bring Sydney Bostic to the plate. First pitch is a called strike. Getting the numbers on Julianne Gosnell in the circle for Manchester. Gosnell 6-5 with a 3.89 ERA in 18 appearances with 11 starts as Bostic hits that one on a line to center field. Goodman squeezes it for out number 1. 81 innings logged, 45 earned runs allowed, 8 walks, 26 strikeouts for Gosnell. 6 complete games, 1 shutout, 1 save for the sophomore from Amboy, Indiana. Munoz takes a called strike over the outside corner for the inning's first pitch. Oh, one pitch is outside for ball 1. Munoz fouls that one off the end of the bat back to the screen. Munoz drives the 1-2 pitch into right field, but right at Hiddle for the line out. So 2 down.
Molly Wallace.
And Molly Wallace will come to the plate. 2 outs in the inning, but the Grizz have hit the ball hard with 3 of the first 4 batters. As Wallace hits that one on the ground, Gosnell knocks it down, comes up with it, fires over to first for the 3rd out of the inning. 1 run, couple of hits, no errors, 1 left. We go to the top half of the second. Franklin leads Manchester 1-0. You're watching Franklin College Softball on Grizz TV, brought to you by the Hubler Automotive Group. Izzy Dittmar stands in to lead off the top of the second for Manchester. She fouls that one down the left field line. Off to the top of the ninth in game one between Franklin and Earlham on the baseball diamond. That one in Richmond, still 2-2 the score, as that one hit foul. Raven McLaren giving it a chase down the third base line. She crashes into the fence, and we can't tell if there were any. It looked like she fell down just inside the Franklin gate, but she's up. She's back at third. She's all right. She's tough. She's a softball player. The 0-2. That one's off the outside corner for ball one. The 1-2 pitch fouled back by Dittmer. Change up from Kleber is low and in the dirt. 2-2 the count to the Manchester catcher. Ball three, that one misses high, so good at bat being put together here by Izzy Dittmer. The payoff pitch coming. She swings and drives that one well foul, but she got a real good piece of it. Dittmar pops that one up into shallow left field. Klemper runs in, squeezes it for the first out of the inning. Faith Hiddle stands in, the starting right fielder for Manchester in games 1 and 2. She swings and hits the first pitch she sees into left. Klemper runs in, makes the sliding grab on both knees for the second out of the inning. So now it's Bonzer stepping in for the Spartans. She fouls the first pitch she sees back. Quick 0-1 count. Got an energetic crowd out here at Barron's Field for the final home game of the regular season, as that one is hit into deep left field but foul just out of the reach of a charging Klemper. The 0-2 pitch misses low. Two away here in the top half of the second inning. Kleber has the pitch and delivers. It's an off-speed pitch, but nice job by Bonzer to get a piece of it and foul that one back to the screen. Update on the golf course at the HCAC Championships. Franklin Men's Golf still sitting in third place overall. Currently 13 shots back of second place Transylvania, 11 shots in front of fourth place Mount St. Joseph. Zach Ricketts karting the low round for the Grizzlies so far today, as they're going to say that that pitch hit Bonzer on the hand. Oh, they're going to call catcher interference on Sydney Bostic. off the interference that brings Eagold to the plate with 2 down here in the first. Eagold hits that one on the ground. Kleber dives over to knock it down. She throws it on to Munoz at first for out number 3. No runs, no hits, no errors, 1 left for the Spartans. To the bottom of the second we go. Franklin leads 1-0. You're watching Franklin College Base Softball on Grizz TV, brought to you by the Hubler Automotive Group. Stands in to lead off the bottom of the second inning. Wagner, team high, 9 home runs on the year, as we said ahead of the start of game 1. Her next home run will be the first time a Grizzly player has reached double digits since the 2017 season, with both Savannah Blevins and Alexis Tarver doing it that year. 1-1 the count as that pitch hits the inside part of the plate. Wagner fouls that one away. 1-2 the count. That pitch hit up the middle, a tough play. And it gets underneath the glove of Eagold at second base. It was hard hit, so they're going to say that's a single up the middle. And that'll bring Raven McLaren to the plate. First pitch is high for ball 1. Hits that one on the ground. Carr up with it over at third. She rifles it across the diamond for out number 1. Wagner moves to second on the play. Stewart with a hit in game number 1 and a run scored. First pitch she sees is high for ball number 1. A strike called over the inside corner of the plate. Now 1-1 the count. Stewart sends that pitch up the middle and into center for a base hit. Wagner turns and is held at third on a single for Kaylee Stewart. That brings Shelby Crockett to the plate in a big spot for the junior shortstop. Crockett squares the bunt. The first pitch is in for a called strike. Stewart takes off and takes second base, at least keeping Franklin out of the ground into the double play. 0-1 the count. The pitch is outside, ball 1. Crockett swings and drives that one into deep left center field. That's a long run. It's going to one hop to the wall. Wagner is in. Stewart rounds third. She will score easy. A 2-run double for Shelby Crockett. She's got 3 RBIs on the afternoon, and Franklin out to a 3-0 lead.
Number 7, Sydney Rodger.
Sydney Rodger takes a called strike. Rodger 1 for 1 with a run scored. She led off the bottom of the first with a double. Rodger swings and puts that one in the air. Goodman settles under it in left center field. Had to avoid Bonzer on the play, but she squeezes it for the second out of the inning.
Annie Klumper.
So here comes Annie Klemper. She's got an RBI single, knocking in Rodger in the first inning. That one is swung and taken through the right side, a base hit. Crockett rounding third. She's going to try to score, and she is cut down on the play. A great throw from Hiddle in right field. And that is going to do it for the Grizzlies in the second. 2 runs on 3 hits with no errors and 1 left on base. We go to the third. Franklin leads Manchester 3-0. You're watching Franklin College Softball on Grizz TV, brought to you by the Hubler Automotive Group. On to the top of the third we go. Julianne Gosnell leads off for Manchester. First pitch is high and outside from Stephanie Kleber. That pitch is swung on and hit into left field. Klemper retreating, makes the grab over her left shoulder for out number 1. Aaron Singleton comes to the plate. Singleton with the Spartans' lone hit of the ball game. First pitch is popped up foul. Bostic gives it a chase, but that one gets over the backstop, out of play. Pitch low and in the dirt. Bostic knocks it down. 1 away here, top half of the third inning. That pitch is hit on the ground. Crockett gets over, scoops it up, fires across the diamond for the out, and Singleton hustling down the line. Good strong throw from Crockett, able to cut her down for out number 2. Leonard takes the first pitch she sees, sends it into shallow right field. Wallace back of second, squeezes it for the third out of the inning. Nothing doing for the Spartans in their half of the third. To the bottom of the inning we go, still 3-0. You're watching Franklin College Softball on Grizz TV, brought to you by the Hubler Automotive Group. Back for the bottom of the third, and a couple of changes for the Spartans. Caitlin Carr is back in the circle, the Game 1 starter. Gets Sydney Bostic to line out softly in the first pitch she sees. Carr moves back into the circle. Eberhardt out of the DP spot over to third, and Gosnell will take over as Manchester's designated player. Munoz swings at the first pitch she sees, that one into shallow right field. A nice job by Eagold to make the grab in shallow right.
Second baseman, number 12, Molly Wallace.
Franklin and Earlham are off to extras in Game 1 of the baseball doubleheader. 2-2 the score. Just 8 hits combined between two really good offensive teams in the opener. Molly Wallace takes the first pitch she sees for a called strike. Carr's second pitch is into right field, and a great effort by a diving Hiddle, but she can't come up with it. Wallace is on with a single.
Number 16, Ariana Wagner.
So that'll bring Ariana Wagner to the plate. Wagner 1 for 1 with a run scored. She smokes the first pitch she sees through the hole on the left side of the infield for a 2-out single. So back-to-back singles for Wallace and Wagner.
Raven McLaren.
And it's a big run-scoring opportunity for Raven McLaren. McLaren hits the first pitch into deep center field. That one's going to one-hop the wall. Wallace is in to score. Wagner turns around third. She will score. It's a long 2-run single for Raven McLaren and a 5-0 Franklin lead.
Number 18, Haley Stewart.
Kaylee Stewart stands in with 2 away. McLaren on first, and Stewart smokes that first pitch back up the middle. 4 straight hits for the Grizzlies.
Number
And head coach Angie Bain heads over to the umpire. Looks like we're going to have a pinch runner for McLaren. Shelby Crockett gets set to stand in. It's going to be number 21, Belle Kneeling, taking over at second base for McLaren. Five nothing your score. Franklin with 10 hits already through 2 2/3 innings. Swing and a miss and a big cut from Crockett on the first pitch. That pitch taken low for ball one. Count runs even 1-1 on the Franklin shortstop. Crockett with a check swing, gets a piece of it, rolls it over to short, and that's going to be an error on the play, but Kneeling gunned down trying to take home on the play. And that is going to do it for the Grizzlies in the inning. 2 more runs for Franklin on the board. We go to the fourth. Franklin leads at 5-0. You're watching Franklin College Softball on Grizz TV, brought to you by the Hubler Automotive Group. To the top of the fourth we go. Franklin leading Manchester 5-0. 5 runs on 10 hits for the Grizzlies through the first 3 innings, excuse me, as Eberhardt hits the first pitch she sees into shallow center field. Molly Wallace going back with the jump, makes the grab for out number 1. First pitch to Caitlin Carr is outside for ball 1. The second pitch is laced into left field, right at Annie Klemper for out number 2. So Izzy Dittmer will stand in with 2 down here in the top of the fourth. Dittmer 0 for 1 in game number 2. She fouls the first pitch back to the screen, right in front of us here in the press box. Second pitch is high for ball 1. 1-1 the count. Now 1-2 as Kleber paints the inside corner. Ball 2, that one missing just off the outside corner. Dittmer stays alive, fouling that one off. into the grandstand. That's a changeup that Dittmer ropes into center field for a base hit. Second hit of game number 2 for the Spartans, and that keeps the inning alive for Faith Hiddle. Hiddle sends that one into left field. Klemper strolls under it and squeezes it for out number 3. So no runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. To the bottom of the 4th we go. Still 5-0 Franklin leads. We'll be right back. More changes around the diamond for Manchester as we get set for the bottom half of the 4th inning. Caitlin Carr back out of the circle and back to third base. Eberhardt returns to the designated player spot. Gosnell comes out of the designated player spot to take over at second, and now in the circle is Brianna Egold. Egold 1-1 with a 3.43 ERA. In 16 1/3 innings pitched this year, 17 walks, 5 strikeouts for the sophomore from Greencastle.
Center fielder, number 7, Sydney Radiger.
Sydney Radiger stands in to lead off the 4th for the Grizz. Rodiger 1 for 2 with a run scored as she takes the first pitch over the inside corner for a called strike. And a called strike over the outside corner. Nice job of painting both corners of the plate by Eagles so far. Takes that 0-2 pitch just a little low for ball number 1. Rodiger dumps that pitch foul down the right field line. Foul ball as Rodiger smokes that one down the left field line. Still 1-2. Another foul ball from Rodiger. One final already in the books today for other Grizzly teams in action. Women's lacrosse falling in the championship game of the HCLC tournament, 17-4 to Transylvania. A historic season comes to an end for Franklin's women's lacrosse team. 9 wins, a single season program record as Rodiger takes ball 2 off the outside corner. Grizz lacrosse with their first ever postseason win Wednesday night here at home against Anderson, as another foul ball from Rodiger keeps the count at 2-2. Rodiger making Eagle work in the circle. That's 5 straight foul balls for the senior outfielder. Rodiger takes the 2-2 pitch, sends it into left field. A charging Bonzer squeezes a glove on it for out number 1.
Left fielder number 11, Andy Klumper.
Eddie Klimper steps in. She's 2 for 2, has an RBI single. First pitch is taken over the outside corner for a called strike. Now 1-1 as pitch to Klimper is high and outside. And a pitch over the outside corner somewhere in the right-handed batter's box called strike number 2. Klimper behind in the count, 0-2. That one's outside, evening things up. That one skipping into Dittmer behind the plate. Full count to Annie Klimper. Klimper reaches out, pokes that one over to third. Carr up with it, rifles it across the diamond for out number 2.
Number 5, Sydney Bostic.
So Sydney Bostic steps up with nobody on, 2 away here in the bottom of the 4th. First pitch is in for a called strike, 0-1 to Bostic. Game's already final around the HCAC in Transylvania, capturing the HCAC regular season championship as Bostic grounds out to third base for out number 3. Mount St. Joseph will be the number 2 seed in next weekend's conference tournament. This is the final game of the regular season for Manchester. They sit 2 games ahead of Franklin in the win column at 10-5. Grizzlies 8-5. Franklin can get back within a game by taking a victory in this one, with 2 to go tomorrow against Defiance. Back at Barron's Field for the top of the 5th inning. A final on the diamond for the Franklin baseball team. They fall in 10 innings to Earlham 3-2. Game 2 coming up in just a little bit from Richmond, as First pitch of the top of the fifth, looped into left field by Bonzer for a leadoff single. Brianna Eagle, the game's starting second baseman, now pitcher for the Spartans. First pitch is a called strike over the outside corner. Second pitch hit into center field. Rodiger charges in, catches that one on the run for the first out of the inning. Back to the top of the order for Manchester, and someone who's given the Grizz a lot of trouble today in Julienne Gosnell. Gosnell 0 for 1 in this game with a walk. Last time she was up, the only time she hasn't reached base today, she drops down a nice bunt. Munoz comes in to grab that and fire it over to Wallace for the 3-4 sacrifice bunt. Runner in scoring position now for the Spartans as Aaron Singleton gets set to come to the plate. First pitch to Singleton from Kleber is in for a called strike. Singleton fouls that one away just down the third base line. An 0-2 hole for the Manchester starting shortstop. She's got one hit in the ball game and 2 trips to the plate. Kleber's pitch is hit into the left center field gap. That one is going to skip all the way to the wall. Bonzer scores easily. It's an RBI double for Singleton, and the Spartans are on the board here in game number 2.
Number 7, Sabrina Leonard.
Sabrina Leonard stands in with a runner in scoring position, 2 away. The first pitch is taken high for ball number 1. That pitch is inside, and it got Leonard's jersey. So a hit by pitch called, and this inning stays alive for Eberhardt. Called strike to Eberhardt on the first pitch. Pitch taken outside for ball 1. 1-1 the count to the Manchester cleanup hitter and now designated player, Abby Eberhardt. That one popped foul behind home plate. Bostic gave it a look. Didn't give it much more than a look. Now 1-2 the count. Eberhardt swings and drives that one into left field. Klemper got a good jump on it and pulls it in for out number 3. Spartans get on the board, 1 run, 2 hits. 1 left on base. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Franklin 5, Manchester 1. You're watching Franklin College Softball on Grizz TV, brought to you by the Hubler Automotive Group. Munoz rolls over a 3-1 pitch to short. Singleton comes up with it on the friendly bounce and tosses it over to first for out number 1.
Number 12.
First pitch to Molly Wallace is low and outside for ball number 1. That one fouled off of the front foot. Wallace fouls another one back to the screen. One and 2 the count on the Franklin second baseman, Molly Wallace. Still 1 and 2 to Wallace after that last foul ball. Wallace slaps that one through the left side. That's going to be a single. Good effort from Carr and from Singleton. Wallace is on with a 1-out single. Eagles still in the circle for Manchester here in the 5th. As Ariana Wagner takes a called strike for the first pitch of the at-bat. Wagner 2 for 2 with a couple of runs scored. That one a called strike. Even though from up here it looked like it was well into the left-handed batter's box. Pitch misses low and outside. 1 and 2 the count to the Grizzlies' right fielder. Wagner reaches out and pokes that one foul down the right field line. Wagner hits that one on the ground. They go to second to get Wallace, but no chance to get Wagner at first. Fielder's choice on the play, 4-6 on the put out for those of you scoring at home. It'll bring Raven McLaren to the plate. McLaren with a 2-run double for the Grizzlies back in the second. First pitch misses outside for ball 1. Pitch called a strike over the outside corner. McLaren fouls the 1-1 pitch back to the screen. Now in a 1-2 hole to the Grizz 7-hitter and starting third baseman. Pitch misses low and outside. Wagner takes off for second, and she is gunned down on the play. Good throw by Dittmar from behind the plate to nail Wagner at second. That's how this inning ends. We go to the 6th. Franklin leading Manchester 5-1. We'll be right back. Caitlin Carr leads off the 6th for Manchester and hits a 1-0 pitch right to Molly Wallace. Really didn't have to move a whole lot. She squeezes that for the first out of the inning. Izzy Dittmar coming up to the plate. She's 1 for 2 in the ball game. Finished off the bottom of the 5th inning, cutting down Ariana Wagner on the base paths. Dittmar swings at the 0-1 pitch and fouls that one off. Dittmar swings and drives that one up the middle for a base hit. A 1-out single for the Manchester catcher. And the Spartans have a base runner with Faith Hiddle coming to the plate. Dittmar hits that one off the handle into shallow left field. Once again, Annie Klemper there in perfect position to squeeze that one and make the grab. 2 away, and Bonzer steps to the plate. She's 1 for 1 with a double and a run scored in this ball game. Excuse me, a single and a run scored as she hits that one over the right side. Wallace with a great diving play, sends it over to Munoz, and that is out number 3 in the inning. No runs for the Spartans, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. To the bottom of the 6th we go. 5-1 your score. We'll be right back. Raven McLaren stands in to lead off the bottom of the 6th for the Grizzlies. First pitch is fouled back to the screen. Pitch is low and in the dirt for ball 1. 1-1 the count to McLaren. Now 2-1 as that one misses low and outside. High and tight to McLaren. Now 3-1. McLaren punches that one down the right field line. That one's going to be a fair ball. It's another single for Raven McLaren. She's got 2 hits in the ball game.
Pitcher of the game, number 9, Sydney Pitts.
And how about that? Sydney Pitts has a bat in her hand. She will step into pinch hit for Kaylee Stewart. Pinch runner for the Grizzlies as Rhiann Brinker takes over at first base for Raven McLaren. Pitts making only her second career plate appearance. First one coming earlier this year. Pitts standing into the right-handed batter's box. Takes the first pitch low and outside for ball one. That one also low and outside, ball two. Pitts 0 for 1 in her only trip to the plate. That one is lined to Gosnell at second, and she catches it on the fly and doubles off a stealing Rhiann Brinker. Just like that, there's two away in the inning. So Savannah Shaddy steps off the bench with a bat in her hand as a pinch hitter for the Grizzlies. First at bat of the day for the sophomore. 1 for 4 on the season and 4 trips to the plate. She's got an RBI to her name as well. That one's a called strike in over the outside corner. Now 1 and 2 was that pitch. Well, I know I'm not centered up, but it looked like it was in the right-handed batter's box. 1 and 2 the count. That one's low and outside. Count runs even 2 and 2. Eagle deals to Shaddy. She pokes that one down the left field line, but just foul. That one's well outside for ball 3. Full count now to Savannah Shaddy. That one's ball 4. Good at bat for Shaddy into pinch hit duty. She draws the 7-pitch walk.
Sydney Roddiger.
And that rolls over the top of the lineup. Back to Sydney Roddiger. Pinch runner for the Grizzlies. Alyssa Pash takes over at first base. Roddiger turns on the first pitch she sees, fouls that one off. It sends a head coach, Angie Bain, running in the third base coach's box. That one's outside, ball 1. 1-1 the count to Roddiger. Roddiger fouls that one off of her foot. 1-2 the count. 2-2 the count to Sydney Rodiger. Alyssa Pash, your runner over at first. And a called strike 3 over something resembling the outside corner. No runs for the Grizz in the inning. We go to the 7th. Franklin leads 5-1. You're watching Franklin College Softball on Grizz TV, brought to you by the Hubler Automotive Group. Back for the top half of the 7th inning. And a first pitch strike called to Brianna Egold. Now 0-2 as Kleber gets ahead in the count. That pitch is outside. 1-2 the count to Egold. Egold fouls that one off of her foot. Count stays at 1-2. Just about ready to get game 2 underway with the Franklin baseball team taking on Earl, and one Grizzly win secures the HCAC regular season title for the 2nd year in a row for the Grizz baseball team. As Egold sends that one into the left center field gap. That one's going to get all the way to the wall. She turns around, heads for second. Rodiger with a good throw. Just a little bit late as Wallace not able to get the tag on. It's a stand-up double for Egold. And the Spartans are threatening here in the top half of the 7th. Back to the top of the lineup for Gosnell. Called strike from Stephanie Kleber. The ball inside as Gosnell runs the count to 1-1. 2-1 the count as that pitch that closely resembled the called third strike to Sydney Rodiger called a ball this time around. Gosnell fouls that one off of the inside corner, off of her hands. Another foul ball as Gosnell sends that one down the left field line. 2-2 from Kleber. That one is hit on the ground to short. Crockett tried to backhand it, and it hits the heel of her glove and bounces away. So now the tying run in the on-deck circle.
Number 8, Aaron Singleton.
And giving away outs in the late inning of important games. Not something that you're looking forward to from a strategy standpoint. We'll see if Kleber can wiggle her way out of trouble here as Singleton comes to the plate. Singleton with 2 hits in this game. That one is outside for ball 1. Oh, the 1-0 pitch, pop foul, just out of play. Pitch is outside to Singleton, ball 2. That one is rolled on the ground. That's a fair ball. As Skylar Weber, who checked into the game at third base, knocked that one down, but couldn't corral it, so it's going to go down as a hit. So a big spot here, bases loaded, nobody out, and an 0-2 count to Sabrina Leonard. And a ball that misses just outside. A real borderline delivery from Stephanie Kleber, now 1-2 the count. Leonard smokes that one into left field. And a nice jump by Annie Klemper to come in and make that the catch for out number 1. One down, but the Grizzlies still not out of trouble yet as Abby Eberhardt, the Manchester cleanup hitter, coming to the plate. One away, top half of the 7th. 5-1 the score, Grizzlies with the lead. That first pitch is in for a called strike from Stephanie Kleber. Now 0-2 as Kleber delivers right down the heart of the plate to Eberhardt. Bostic setting up outside in that left-handed batter's box, but Kleber misses outside for ball 1, trying to get Eberhardt to chase on the play. That one is hit into center field, a base hit. 1 run is going to score. Here comes the throw, and that means it's a 2-run single for Eberhardt as the throw from Rodiger to Bostic at the plate, just not able to get her. So a meeting in the circle for Franklin head coach Angie Bain and the entire Franklin infield. 5-3 the score, still a force out at each bag on the infield for the Grizzlies. And Caitlin Carr, the batter, the 5-spot hitter for Manchester, due up. There's a pinch runner in the game for Manchester. It's number 2, Amaya Leister, taking over at first. First pitch is down low for ball 1. That one's driven into the left center field gap. It gets down. Good job by Rodiger to cut that one off, but it is not going to keep a run from scoring as Singleton charges home. And now it's a 5-4 ball game as Izzy Dittmer comes to the plate. Haley Demler takes over as a pinch runner for Manchester at first base. 4-3 your score. Grizz holding on to a precarious lead in an important conference game. That first pitch is called a strike over the outside corner to Dittmer. Now 1-1 is that pitch just missing the outside portion of the plate. Now 2-1 as Bostic tried to frame that up over the outside corner of the plate. Big swing and a miss from Dittmer. She looked like she was trying to send that ball over the scoreboard in left field. Kleber with the 2-2. That one is driven into left field, but foul and out of play. Full count on Izzy Dittmer as she takes that one outside. A swing and a miss. Big strikeout from Stephanie Kleber. She gets Dittmer in a huge spot. Looks like we're going to have a pinch hitter for the Spartans. It's number 99, Allie Aker, in for Manchester. Aker, one of the normal starters for the Spartans. It's the first time we've seen her today. 315 average on the year in 34 games. That one's popped up back of the plate. Bostic squeezes it for out number 3. So the Grizzlies and Spartans split 2 on senior day here at Barron's Field, with Franklin taking a nail biter in game 2, 5-4.
The Grizzlies take game 2 with the score of 5-4.
Franklin now 26-12 on the year going into their final 2 games of the regular season tomorrow at Defiance. Manchester finishes out their regular season 22-18 with a 10-6 mark in HCAC play. Franklin now 9-5 in conference play with those 2 at Defiance tomorrow. A sweep for the Grizz puts Franklin in the 3 spot in the conference tournament. That is going to do it for my portion of today's broadcast. We thank you again for tuning in to Franklin College softball today and all season long here on Grizz TV. I am Ryan Thomas saying thank you for tuning in. We are going to leave it here for the new tradition amongst the Franklin softball team on Senior Day. It's the final lap here at Barron's Field. Once again, thank you for tuning in to Grizz TV, brought to you by the Hubler Automotive Group. We will be back on the airwaves tomorrow with the Franklin baseball team hosting Defiance for the final 2 games of the regular season. That telecast set to get underway at noon from John P. McDowell Field. I am Ryan Thomas once again saying thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow for Grizz Baseball here on Grizz TV.